Moments ago, we found out that an individual had been arrested for setting this mailbox on fire. Now, we don't know the why yet, but we do know that an individual at 1:20 a.m. local time set this drive-up collection mailbox on fire. Inside, there were ballots as well as other sort of miscellaneous mail. We don't know if it was related to the ballots. It's unsurprising in Arizona, where so many people vote by mail, that there's people voting ballots in the mailbox 10 days out from the election or so. But we do know that they will find out more. Surveillance footage was obtained by authorities, and that's what likely led to this speedy arrest.
The election shenanigans are well underway as we get closer to November 5th, and I fear things will only get worse and more absurd. You just saw a U.S. Postal Service mailbox that was set on fire in Phoenix, Arizona, which damaged mail-in ballots. On October 24th, local law enforcement arrested the suspect, 35-year-old Dieter Kloffkorn, who admitted to committing arson but said it had nothing to do with the election. He just wanted to be arrested, which feels very Charlie Chaplin modern times of him. Here's a picture of the 35-year-old Kloffkorn, and he has quite a few mugshots, so this isn't his first run-in with the law. He's been identified as a Republican, but it's not really clear how politically involved he actually is, especially since he seems to be in and out of police custody. The Phoenix fire destroyed about 20 ballots, and the Arizona Secretary of State said that the voters with affected ballots would be contacted. And similar incidents have occurred in Oregon and Washington state. Local officials had been warned that incidents like this could be possible, having been tipped off by social media posts. In Portland, police got a call that a fire had been started in a ballot box by an incendiary device. Thankfully, all but 3 ballots were protected from damage thanks to a fire suppressant that was placed inside the box earlier. However, in Vancouver, Washington, things did not go as well.
Police say a suspicious device was found next to a ballot box in Vancouver, Washington, Monday morning. Another ballot box 15 miles away in Portland, Oregon was also set on fire, also on Monday morning. The FBI is now investigating both incidents. According to Portland police, an incendiary device was placed inside a ballot box. Police also released a photo of a suspect vehicle believed to be connected to the incidents. The ballot box set on fire in Vancouver, Washington was at a bus station. Video shows burned ballots being shoveled out of the boxes.
The ballot box's fire suppressant didn't go off as planned, and the result was that hundreds of ballots were either completely destroyed or severely damaged. In response, the Clark County auditor has said that they will be increasing the number of drop box retrievals to reduce the amount of time that ballots are sitting in the boxes, in the hope that if a similar incident occurs, fewer ballots will be at risk. No arrests have been made in either Washington or Oregon, and investigations are still underway, so no motive for the fires have been identified. Of course, these were ballot boxes, not a mailbox like in Phoenix, so the motive with these fires seems to be a bit more obvious. And it's also of significant note that Washington and Oregon residents vote exclusively by mail and drop box. Candidates from both parties have denounced the attacks on ballot boxes. Democratic incumbent in Washington's 3rd District, Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez, called for local law enforcement to guard the drop boxes. Meanwhile, her Republican challenger Joe Kent called the attack a cowardly act of domestic terrorism. Election officials are reminding voters that they need to follow up on their mail-in ballots. You can confirm on your local election websites whether or not your ballot was received and your vote was counted. Usually you should know within 3 days or so that your ballot was delivered. And overall, officials want to reinforce to the public that despite a few isolated incidents, mail-in and drop box ballots are generally secure. Many ballot boxes are under video surveillance, and they have anti-fire precautions in place. Max Reed, a senior research manager for elections at the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, had this to say about election security. He said there's a lot of misconceptions and frankly just lies about what security measures are in place, not only on the ballot drop boxes, but on the whole system of election vote tabulation and certification. Small-scale incidents like these arsons can be used to support and bolster those claims going forward. The Institute for Strategic Dialogue, by the way, is a nonprofit that studies extremism racism and disinformation. But all of that said, paper ballots do feel a bit fickle. It feels a little old school. The alternative would be to move to some form of digital or online ballot, but with so many people already mistrusting technology, I would imagine that there would be some pushback to counties and states implementing any digital system. In Texas, we used to just go vote on the screen in the polling booth, but since there was so much distrust of the digital submissions, we now have to feed a piece of paper into a printer, vote on the screen, print out our selections, then take the printed piece of paper and feed it into a different machine. We never had to do that before, and it all feels like a step in the wrong direction, but it makes people feel better to see their chosen candidates' names printed on a physical sheet of paper. It was very much, I think, an overcorrection to people insisting that the election process was broken and corrupt and prone to error or whatever, and I'm not sure what can be done about those fears at this point. Despite years of mainly Republicans crying wolf over alleged election fraud, there haven't been any documented or reported incidents of it occurring, certainly not at the scale that they're saying it's happening. And when we have had incidents of voter fraud, not even including local attempts to not certify elections, Republican voters and conservatives were found to be at fault. And the reason they give is always the same. They are fighting perceived fire with actual fire. They believe the Democrats are cheating without having seen any evidence, so they think that they are justified in their cheating. Whatever, just go vote, do your part or don't. The results will be out in November, and if Kamala Harris wins, then the results will be contested for weeks or months or maybe even years to come. So our bumpy ride is far from over, but we do what we can in the meantime. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.